Hi there, it's Jeff from RV Parenting, and I'm doing this one solo again today, and while the wives are away, the husbands will play. But in this case, I'm going to play around with this thing, which is an RV air compressor designed to help refill RV tires quickly and easily. If you know anything about RV tires, you know they're huge. You know they require a lot of pressure. I believe the PSI limit on mine is 110. So right out of the gate, you know that the average tire gauge that you're going to buy at a convenience store isn't going to measure that high of a PSI. Also, the air pressure machines that you see at gas stations and things like that, they may not have a gauge that can read that high either. And you don't want to just fill up and hope that you get it right. So first out of the gate, you need to have a gauge that goes up to at least 100. Most of them go up to 150 or 160 that are designed for RVs. So you want to be able to measure accurately what the pressure is in your tire so you know exactly how much air to put in. That's huge. The next thing you have to think about, of course, is that this thing is huge, and your RV could be smaller, could be larger, but it's not easy to get an RV into a convenience store or gas station or some other place where you find those machines to fill up. So I decided to go ahead and bite the bullet and buy this thing. It's a VIAIR compressor, again, designed specifically for RV tires. And what I mean by that, of course, is it supplies the right amount of pressure. It has the right level of gauge that measures that high pressure, but it also comes with incredibly long cords so that you can easily reach all of the tires all the way around your RV. That's what I love about this thing. It was a little bit of an investment, a couple $100. I'm going to link to it on Amazon down below in the description in case you want to check it out and feel like it's a worthy investment for your RV. I did think it was one for mine because now I can fill up my tires quickly and easily whenever, wherever I want to. And this thing connects to the batteries in my RV. That's how it gets its power. Doesn't need gas or propane or anything like that. Like I mentioned, it's got cables that can reach everywhere, all the way around the RV. I believe up to 60 feet is the length that it can reach. So it's plenty of distance for all of my tires. Let's go ahead and take a look at it now. I'm going to unbox it. I haven't opened this before. I literally just got it today. Comes in this nice little carrying case. I'm going to set the box aside. So like I said, I just got this today, haven't used it yet. You're going to be my guinea pigs to see me take it out of the container and figure out how to use it. I won't bore you with the details, so I will do a little bit of editing so you're not sitting here watching me try and figure everything out. But I do want you to see exactly what's entailed so that you know what to do if you decide to buy one of these. I'm going to go ahead and get it set up now, and I'm going to pause the camera while I'm getting it set up, but don't worry, I won't skip any important details. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and I'm recording this actually the day after I recorded the intro section. Ran out of daylight, then had some rain, but we're going to get into all of the details now about this little VIAIR air compressor. I'm going to kind of show you piece by piece how to assemble it, then we'll get it hooked up to the batteries, and then we're going to see it in use filling up my tires. So let's get going. So first of all, you see this has a handy kind of carrying lever right here. It's foam padded, so it's nice and easy to grip, makes it easy to pick up. You can see it's got a nice bottom for resting on a surface, minimal vibration. Obviously, I'm not going to keep it on this table when I'm actually using it. First thing we need to do is put in the air filter. So this little red plug is going to come out of the back. We're going to discard that. We don't really need it. We've got this piece here, which is going to separate, and then inside there's a white filter and a gray filter, and they give you 3 extra sets of those that come with it. Those do need to be clean, otherwise your performance of your compressor is going to suffer a little bit. Go ahead and just kind of screw this into the end here, turning it clockwise. You don't need pliers, I don't believe. Just kind of snug that up with your hand. That'll be just fine, but do check your filter periodically to see if it's dirty. So the next thing we need to do is connect the main hose. We have 2 coiled hoses here, each of which is 30 feet, and they are exactly the same. This kind of pulls back like that, so we're just going to kind of pull it back and slip it on the end right here, and then lock that into place. if you do want to connect the two hoses to give you 60 feet of length, these connectors are going to work exactly the same way. Pull that back, put that in, let it go. Now you've got 60 feet of length. Then on the end here, you're going to want to connect it to this, which has your gauge and your trigger right there. So that's going to connect in the same sort of way. You're going to pull this back, slide it on, and then let it go. And now for the end here, you've got two options. You've got this metal arm, which is probably what I'm going to use, and you can either connect it here or here, depending upon the angle of your tire stems. Some of those double tires, the stems are both on the outside tire, thankfully, but sometimes the second one can be a little hard to get to. So it's nice to have both of those options. I'm just going to, again, pull this back, insert that, and let go. And if I wanted to, this one is obviously flexible, and I could put that one on there instead if I wanted that flexibility. Also, there were a couple, somewhere in here, there were a couple of additional attachments that go onto this flexible one if you want to pump up like bicycle tires and things like that. But now I think this is all completely ready to go. The next step is going to be to connect our jumper cables for power to the battery. So let me show you how to do that now. Okay, so right now you've got a bird's eye view of my batteries here, and they just slide out on a tray. Yours may be different. And the most important thing, of course, is going to be to hook up the red terminal of the compressor to the positive terminal on one of these batteries. And then, of course, the black one will need to go to a negative terminal on one of these batteries. So I'm going to connect the red one right here to this positive terminal on this battery. The most accessible negative terminal is going to be this one right over here. So hopefully this will reach, and they're both connected. I'm going to turn on the compressor now and see if we've got power. Okay, so we're going to start with the driver's side front tire, and the maximum PSI on my tires is 110. That's what it says on the outside of the tire. Of course, you're going to want to check your tires because your tire's maximum PSI could be different from mine. That doesn't necessarily mean I need to fill it up to 110, but I certainly don't want to go over that. If you're unsure of where to find that on your tire, definitely consult the owner's manual that came with your RV. You don't want to overfill these tires. The nice thing about this compressor is that it supposedly comes with a limit switch that makes it automatically turn off when the maximum pressure has been reached. It's nice to know that that safety feature is built in. So the next thing I'm going to do is turn the compressor on. It will make a little bit of noise, but it's not as noisy as you might think. Let's go ahead and turn that on now. Okay. Starting to get a little bit noisy here. I did actually turn my generator on because I was a little bit worried about running down the batteries with not connected to shore power, which I'm not right now. But let's go ahead and start to fill these tires up. Again, to make the air come out, you just squeeze this trigger, just like that. So first I'm going to take these stem covers off. Obviously, you don't want to lose these. And they do have some you can actually buy that allow you to refill without removing, but I don't really know that that's necessary. So first, I'm just going to check and see what the pressure is. Looks pretty low, about 80. So I'm going to add. Probably want to get it closer to 100 since the max is 110. We're going to see how long it takes as well. But I won't bore you by making you sit through the entire thing. But it is moving fairly slow. Okay, so I will say that to go from 80 to 90 PSI, the VIAIR took about 5 minutes, so it's not breaking any speed records. I'm also realizing that the size of my RV's tires, which are just over 35 inches, may be a little bit too much for this guy to handle. It's rated for tires up to 35 inches, so mine are just a hair over that. It did get to 90 PSI. I'm not sure if I could actually get it to go much above that. Of course, mine are rated at 110. So I'm going to say that this is probably better used for smaller tires, so make sure you check your tire size. I think for travel trailers, pop-up campers, Class B, Class C RVs, and fifth wheels, it's probably going to be just fine. If you have a Class A like I do, you may want to check the size of your tires before deciding to purchase this. I do want to show you though, I just want to show you, turn it on and show you how quiet it is without the generator on, and I want to show you how little it moves around. It is pretty impressive. It's not very noisy. Of course, the air is flowing, and as you can see, it's not jumping around at all. So fairly unobtrusive if you're filling up your tires at a campsite and you don't want to be too noisy for your neighbors. But again, if you have a Class A like I do, check your tire size before deciding to purchase this. But if you have any other kind of RV, I think it's going to be a godsend. Okay, so just to quickly sum up, overall, I am happy with this little guy. It's convenient. It easily stores in the RV. I think without question, if you have a travel trailer, a fifth wheel, a Class B or a Class C RV, this is absolutely something that's worth getting. If you have a Class A RV like I do, check the tire size, because I did struggle to get it to fill up to 90 PSI, and that took at least 5 minutes. And with 6 tires, that's a little time consuming and a little hard on the hands. I did notice that their compressor is rated for tires up to 35 inches. Mine are just a hair larger than that. On their spec sheet, it does say it can go from 80 to 90 PSI on a 35-inch tire in just 30 seconds. I didn't experience anywhere near that quick of a fill rate trying to fill up my tires. I'm going to keep playing around with it. Maybe I've got something messed up here. I don't think so though. So again, if you've got a Class A RV and your tires are bigger than 35 inch, this may not be the way you want to go. But for just about everybody else, I think it's going to be perfect. Again, you'll find a link for it down below in the description on Amazon. If you have any questions or comments, leave me those down below as well. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It sends a great signal to YouTube, and then they're going to show it to more RV owners just like you. Then of course, smash that subscribe button and the bell notification button too. But with that, we'll see you in the next video.